All right, guys, I'm going to post this answer key as well, but I'm going to go ahead and work out a few of the problems, just some of the ones that you guys have had some questions about. So we'll start with number 1, and first thing is we want to underline that it says parallel because that tells us that we're going to be using the exact same slope that was given in our equation. So our original slope, this is step 1, is to identify that the slope was 2/3. Our second step is to plug in our x value, our y value, and our m value. So that's what we're going to do. So we're going to plug it into y equals mx plus b. We're going to end up with 0 equals 2/3 times x, which is 3, plus b. Again, we're going to take our 3 and change it into a fraction. 0 equals 2/3 times 3/1 plus b. We're going to multiply straight across. 0 equals 6/3 plus b. 0 equals, simplify, 2 plus b. And subtract 2 to find our b value. B is going to equal -2. Now that we have our m value and our b value, we just want to write the equation y equals 2/3 x minus 2. That's our final answer there. So, like I said, I'm just going to kind of skip around a little bit. I'll probably work through the odds for you on your answer key, and then always go back and check the full document for the answer key for the even numbers. All right, here we go. Second one, identify the slope, which is going to be -2, and our x and y, -1, -1. Slope is -2, plug it into y equals mx plus b. -1 equals -2 times -1 plus b. -1 equals +2 plus b. Subtract 2 on both sides. We end up with our b value equaling -3. Rewrite, of course, y equals, use your slope, -2x minus 3. All right, number 5. Again, x and y. We're going to identify our slope, which is going to be 1/2. Y equals mx plus b. We're still looking at parallel lines. Pretty much on the whole front side, I think we're looking at parallel lines. So we're using that exact same slope. So y value is 3 equals 1/2 times -4 plus b. Rewrite your whole number as a fraction. 3 equals 1/2 times -4/1 plus b. And we're going to start to simplify. So 3 is going to be equal to -4/2 plus b. 3 is going to equal -2 plus b. Add 2, add 2. We're going to end up with our b value equaling 5. Y equals our slope, 1/2 x, plus our y-intercept, which is 5. All right, number 7. Again, still looking at parallel. So we're going to take our original slope, -2/3, our x value and our y value here, and rewrite y equals mx plus b. Sub in what we know. We're going to take our y, which is 1, our m, -2/3, times x, which is -5, and then plus b. So we're going to take our -5 and change it into a fraction, and we're going to simplify. 1 equals, this is going to give us +10/3 plus b, minus 10/3 minus 10/3. Definitely allowed to use a calculator here. When you are using a calculator, you may use Desmos. That's absolutely fine. All right, so when I subtracted 1 minus 10/3 on the calculator, I got -2 1/3. So now I'm going to just rewrite that as y equals, keep your slope, -2/3, x, and then -2 1/3. And that's our final answer. So that's it for parallel lines. So when we turn our page and we get to perpendicular lines, remember there's just that one extra step of finding that opposite reciprocal slope. So first step is still to identify our original slope. So our m is 1/3 here, but we do want to recognize that it's perpendicular. So we're actually going to say that our perpendicular slope is the opposite, and then flip your fraction, reciprocal. All right, now we're going to use our x and y and plug in. So we have y equals mx plus b. We're going to plug in -1 equals our slope of, remember, use the new slope, -3 times 5 plus b. It's going to give us -1 equals -15 plus b. Add 15 to both sides. We end up with 14 equaling b. So rewrite, remember, use your perpendicular slope for your final answer, -3x, and then plus 14. All right, 2/3 here. That's our original slope. Remember, we want to take the opposite reciprocal to find our perpendicular slope, which is going to be a -3/2. Label your x and your y, so you make sure you put those in the right spot. And we end up with y equals mx plus b. Y value is 2. Our new m value is -3/2 times -2 plus b. 2 equals -3/2 times -2/1. We're changing that to that fraction form. 2 equals, it's going to give us a +6/2 plus b, which gives us 3 plus b. And when we subtract 3 on both sides, we are going to end up with our b value being -1. So when we rewrite our equation, we always want to make sure we're using that new slope, -3/2x, and our new b value, -1. All right, number 13. Here's our original slope, -1/2. Our perpendicular slope to that would then be a +2. Label your x and your y, and we're going to write it in y equals mx plus b form. We're going to end up with -1 is equal to 2 times -3 plus b. -1 equals -6 plus b. Add 6 to both sides. We end up with 5 is equal to our b value. So when we rewrite y equals, use your new slope, 2x plus 5. All right, last one for this set. Here's our original slope. Our perpendicular slope to this is going to be a +8/3. X and y here, so we're going to plug into y equals mx plus b. So we're going to end up with 3 equals 8/3 times 3 plus b. We want to make this 3 into a fraction form. So 3 equals 8/3 times 3/1 plus b. Multiply straight across, we get 24/3 here. And we'll simplify that. 3 equals 8 plus b. Subtract 8 on both sides. Do some integer math. We end up with -5 is equal to our y-intercept value. So we have y equals, use your new slope, 8/3 x minus 5. All right. I did have a couple questions on number 10, so I'm going to go ahead and work that one out for you guys as well. This one was a little tricky, I guess, because our equation here is a little different. So if we really rewrote this equation using a slope and a y-intercept, it would look like y equals 1x plus 0. So if we want the opposite reciprocal of our slope here, our original slope was 1. Our opposite reciprocal slope would actually be -1. So that's the slope that we're going to use. The rest of the steps are still the same. We're going to end up with y equals mx plus b and sub in. So -3 equals our slope, remember our new slope, -1 times 5 plus b. And we don't really care about this plus 0 up here. Doesn't really affect our problem. So -3 equals -5 plus b, and add 5 here, and we're going to end up with +2 equaling our b value. So y equals -1x plus 2, or if we really wanted to write this in the best format, we would just put y equals -x plus 2. But either answer here would be okay. Number 12 is kind of the same. You do have that 1 as your coefficient of x here. So that tells us that our original slope is 1, but our opposite reciprocal slope is going to be -1. So kind of similar to number 10. All right, guys, remember to check the document that I'm uploading as well for the rest of the answers, and let me know if you have any questions.